Chartsweep in. Hey, comrades, what's going on? Oh, I gotta get the Bibles ready, man. We got people coming in. Oh, wow, we got people popping off coming in the channel. What's up? Yeah, Joe. Remember, the joke's got to work across seasons. You got a kicker and then you got a header. That's how we do it. Oh, yeah. We're going 1983. Somebody spoiled it, but full. Yeah, it's just, I mean, look at this. It's just these people, like, they invented, they didn't invent it, but they were right there for, like, the definition of propaganda. Oh, God, how are we going to do 83, man? I mean, so I finished up last time talking about just the iconic stuff from this period, and I talked about this album. I mean, it's just, look at the font, like the Happy Days font and all that, and it's just, you know, their whole thing, and it's important too to realize, like, they were so heavily marketed as like a police, you know, band. Everything about them was like in the shadow of how the police were being marketed and how successful they'd been. And it was just at the moment where the police were going to become, you know, the imperial rock band of the period. And, you know, Columbia and the guys didn't really, I mean, I'm not going to say that anything like they weren't sharp because they were from Australia or something horrible and like ethnically they were in a band and they were working musicians and, you know, whatever. Talk about the Carpenters. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, and then this thing just took over the whole goddamn year. It's just crazy. And you know, I talked before, and, you know, obviously I did a really relatively big, one of my last really solid big podcasts about this fucking thing. Whew. I mean, if it's not for the Thriller taking over the entire planet, the consciousness of every country, of every person, the fascination with this guy and with this record, I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But this is essentially not remembered. It's not remembered how big it was, and it was an absolutely fucking massive record, right up there with it, with Synchronicity and with Thriller. But yeah, so and then we also, of course, we talked about, you know, this is where it's sort of complete, and Genesis has in '83 executed the kind of, you know, not pure pop, because again, Hello, I Must Be Going, we've already talked about. Yeah, I love the Def Leppard podcast. I loved it. I loved it because it was just like, why aren't people talking about this band? You know, it's a shame. But yeah, oh man, Home by the Sea, the Silver Rainbow. There is some funny shit on here. But yeah, Mama is the one. Mama, That's All. And I actually love Illegal Alien, man. It sucks because it's so tropey and you could never, Jesus Christ, get that shit on the air today. Illegal Alien is a great fucking song as a song. But yeah, there's like Just a Job to Do, which is like a awful like Magnum PI theme song. But Mama was used in, I believe it was Magnum PI or Miami Vice. And it was shocking. Like a massive top line FM radio singles band was used in an American TV station. Like, it was mental. Oh, I gotta close the cord. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with my internet speeds. If it's all fucked up and shitty and not worth watching, like, just let me know, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do. Because the kids are all on shit. Like, what am I gonna do? Right? We're in fucking lockdown. Yeah, Home by the Sea. Home by the Sea is actually like a really solid, you know, pop prog sort of, you know, mid-tempo thing. I love that jam. That's a jam. But yeah, I mean, 83 is really tough to get to, because when you think you're talking about something so massive and so formative, because like Business as Usual, you know, the first one I showed you, that starts the year, and Down Under in England too was just holy shit. 9 frames per second, dude. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not going to be me. My son's going to fucking start stamping on the floor and being like, Dad, I'm getting killed. I can't do my 90s in Fortnite. You have to stop streaming, you old fucking bear. Anyway, yeah. Oh, and then I pulled, what else? What else did I pull? I pulled, shit, where'd I put it, man? I pulled, yeah. We're talking about this guy. Where is it? Where'd I put it? Come on. There it is. Now, this was also, we talked about this at the end of 82, and this comes in 83. And this record, Built for Speed, was just, massive. Because, again, I talked about this in one of them. And I don't want to repeat myself too deeply, but basically the simple point is that you now have this thing of, like, really high production, 3-minute pop singles, airtight songwriting, messaging, and image. And now it's like, well, you can put new wave on anything. And that's what these things like. And this is something, to be fair, Matthew Perpetua and I have talked about it a lot. And it was like this re-upping of all these new ideas and images that had been cast and sort of, ushered in really by punk in a lot of ways and the New Romantics. This is where it blooms. 83 is 100 Flowers Bloom across the board. I mean, it's Culture Club. It's everything. Oh, I have to go get the Culture Club VHS. I didn't pull it. A Kiss Across the Ocean, the Culture Club live VHS tape. It's so good. I'm so crazy for Culture or early Culture Club, first, like original Culture Club up until the horrible drug bullshit stuff. But there's so many interesting things. We talked, somebody mentioned how I suppose, overlooked this big guy. And I did. And people need to understand, like, and I've tweeted and repeatedly told anyone who's curious, every good guitar song you've ever heard, this guy wrote it. I mean, like, this album, it's just like, Someday, Some Way, Marianne. I mean, you can go back to September Girls, you can go back to Big Star, whatever. It's, but this record, oh man, it is just, because the record he came out with, this is 82. The record, he comes out with another one really quickly because it did really well. Because he's like the Elvis Costello that's not a racist asshole. So, and he's not like, so he got like kind of plugged in to an existing sort of situation in some ways, not of his own doing, but that's just how it kind of worked. But yeah, holy cow, this is just just such an incredible record and just such good songwriting. But it's Richard Goddard. I did a whole video about him. Guys in the Strange Loves, wrote all these Brill Building songs. He did the Go-Go's. And here he is again, the same year, as the Go-Go's. He's producing the landmark, fucking Marshall Crenshaw LP. And Warner Brothers is just printing fucking money. Best song, Marianne. I mean, Someday, Some Way is it depends who you talk to. For some people, it's like Marianne is the one. That's the big hit. For other people like me, it's Someday, Some Way, because it's that airy jump up kind of, whatchamacallit, the Christmas bells, not a tambourine. I'm a drummer and I can't even remember the name of this fucking thing. It's a whole bunch of Christmas bells on a stick and it's Someday, Some Way. So good, so bounding and good. But this is Thriller just starts to chart at the beginning of 82, and they had, people talk about how they released the wrong first single and everything. Crenshaw's got co-writing credits on stuff you don't even know. Like every guitar song that was written in the 2000s, he probably has a co-writing credit. It's hilarious. Like if you just go back and look, he's in there with like the Third Eye Blind. That's him. I mean, whether it's because they ripped him off and they knew they were going that way, and so they got him involved. But yeah, the last Third Eye Blind hit song. There's every good reason for letting you know, that song. It's Marshall Crenshaw. He's credited on it, and he was on it. He's a blind spot for so many people, but it's unbelievable. The Gin Blossoms, exactly same thing. Like, Hey Jealousy, the one I really like, Till I Hear It From You is a good one. I think that's the one Crenshaw wrote, right? Because that's just signature fucking Crenshaw harmonies and progressions. Till I Hear It From You, Gin Blossoms. But no, what was the other one? There's Hey Jealousy was the big hit, but there was another one on that record that I loved. Till I Hear It From You, wasn't that the one on the Empire Records soundtrack? Anyway, Gin Blossoms were fucking great. Like they were lame. They were considered lame in the time of Nirvana. They're great fucking songwriters, and that first record is awesome. It's the same way people thought Black Crowes, couldn't be cool because of when they happened. But Black Crowes' second record, Southern Harmony and Musical Companion, I talked about that in another video. It's fucking great. Anyway, I was about to roast you for watching Empire Records. No, it's just you have to have the soundtrack because Evan Dando covers Years Ago My Heart Was Set to Live. Whoa. Big star. And it's a really good cover. I love Evan Dando's covers. I'm such a sweetie for him. I'm terrible with it. But I think it's a really good cover. And I've been trying hard against unbelievable odds. And there ain't no one. But anyway, so I mean, again, like a lot of this has been getting ramped up in 82. Like Business as Usual is number 1 for the whole month of January. Built for Speed, Stray Cats is number 2. Ballad of El Godo. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. I'm trying to focus here. This is also when the Clash crosses over big. Because like up to this point, Sandinista is not a particularly approachable record. And they're like, oh, we kind of just fucked up our shot in America. So this is Radio Clash. Dun, 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 dun. That's how we'll do it in America. Good job, guys. And the follow-up is Combat Rock, which is just so massive in creating a tame enough punk image and attitude that American suburban, like 13, 14-year-olds could like rep it, Are you talking about Evan Dando and the Blake Babies cover of Temptation Eyes, when they covered Temptation Eyes? It's so funny. He's like in a boxer shorts. It's so bad. Yeah, I love that. You do not need my singing. I can't sing. Led Zeppelin, though. This is so Coda, because Bonham's gone, is on there. And I talked in a couple of these videos about how Bob Seger is coming up and he's crossing over and out of the 70s. Bob Seger ends up like 38 Special in the early 80s in America, still kind of hitting it and having big hits. But then this is where you see it all start to come in. Thriller's number 1 all throughout. I mean, God, when does it stop being number 1? It doesn't. Yeah, it's Thriller to Synchronicity. That's all of 82. It's literally all it is from February 26th until the Police, Because of Every Breath You Take, overtake Thriller in... Oh my God. July. Yep. End of July. So, at this point, anything less than Synchronicity and Thriller is sort of not on the radar even, because the entirety of like US in English everywhere society is like completely just focused on this new wave of celebrity, and Culture Club gets in there at the end of the year. It's just the beautiful in Rio. Duran Duran is still in here in the mix, but they seem sort of vaguely 80s. They don't seem like 83. Boom. You know what I mean? In the way that I showed it at the beginning, Brennan. I already showed Mama, and we talked about Home by the Sea. Anyway, and Hello, I Must Be Going was charting before that anyway, because You Can't Hurry Love was a big hit, both sides of the pond. And for me, I mean, I Don't Care Anymore is the jam. It's not, I mean, I like Mama, but Mama is very like I said before, Michael Mann, I'm going to get on a detective show or be in a movie. It's very soundtracky and cinematic. I Don't Care Anymore is like, I'm getting divorced, fuck the world, I'm drinking 6 bottles of fucking Chardonnay and I'm going to go get in a fight. Like, I Don't Care Anymore is so, and he recorded it at home on a home 8-track. There's like nothing in the song. It's just him like beating the living shit out of his drums and screaming. So good. God love Phil. I hope we don't lose him. I'm not saying there's anything else that we don't know about going on, but just that, he obviously has had really persistent issues with alcohol abuse and like almost died multiple times from it. But yeah, the top 10 is sort of just the top 10, and it changes places for this whole year. It's these 10 records that are so massive. And like I said, Pyromania, Rio, H2O, Daryl Hall and John Oates, Toto 4, and then Bowie's Let's Dance becomes massive too. But Men at Work, they end up having 2 albums chart in the same year because It's a Mistake. Cargo comes out at the end of the year because they've already been out forever as far as they are concerned. I think Johnny B. Good is 82, and that record just didn't get over here in time. So it's an accident of like kind of a traffic jam. of Men at Work not cracking it at the same time. They've already got their second record in the can. And It's a Mistake is a legit great little song. It's funny. Listen to It's a Mistake. It sounds like he's saying Midsummer's Day. A lot of people thought it was called that, by Men at Work from Cargo. And then go listen to Hit the North by The Fall. It's like kind of the same song. It's really cute. It's like this up sort of like lazy ska tempo. Yeah, Let's Dance is 83. I mean, it's like you can't even, what the fuck? How can you get through 83? It's impossible. You also have The Final Cut, which no one else was really talking about, but ended up being, for me, a big part of my kind of career as a music journalist, because apart from Kurt Loder, I'm the only person that sort of is popularly known to have, I gave The Final Cut a 10.0 on the reissue. And like, I was listening to that record, that tape, front to back in like cars smoking weed when I was like 16. Like we were so, I don't know what it was about The Final Cut but it's like when you think about the stuff When the Tigers Broke Free and the stuff that comes out of the making of the Wall movie, and Waters' obsession with his father's death, and Angie, like World War II, it's just like, there's so much to it. There's so much more, like the beautiful moments of like Goodbye Blue Sky and like There's an Airplane in the Sky, Mummy, all that shit where it's like English life, like the emotional core of the war and the post-war generation. I don't know how Waters was able to, after The Wall, like go even further into that, to like Two Sails on the Sunset, the post-war dream. That I mean, I haven't listened to it in quite a long time because I've been relatively, like, all my time is occupied, so I can't like wallow in albums really as much as I used to. But God, The Final Cut is just so beautiful. I mean, the title track, of course, these are retreads. There's retreads of Comfortably Numb, but I think they hit harder for that crazy fucking drum production. And it just sucks that you have this awful, turgid piece of shit single and Not Now John stuck on it. It's such a shame. But Soul Mining 83, I actually have, well, no, it's Infected from later. I have that 12-inch pulled, and Special Beat Service too. I got a whole bunch of shit. But you know what else I talked about in like the first or second, like just the general chat videos before I started doing the chart sweeps? It's Bryan Adams, man. Cuts Like a Knife. Na, 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 na. Fuck yeah. That was in the top 10. And then, yeah, in the hot summer, it comes in. And this is really when Prince blows up in May. 1999 starts charting, singles everywhere. And he's just, he's super famous and he's huge. And he wants to do this movie and this project. And he's got all these outsized ambitions and stuff. But it's like, he's just not, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is just, it's indescribable. The guy's celebrity. It's absolutely indescribable. Speaking in tongues, it's funny. We haven't talked like on any of these. The talking heads never come up because like I tend to go into like punk or post-punk. And so all this great talking head stuff is sort of like this weird tier of like very well-known album-oriented rock band that doesn't, it's not new wave and sexy and it's art, and it's not like REM where it's this band that's like a new sort of energy, almost like, it's like they call it college rock or whatever. But the talking heads are just like zoned. They're just totally zoned. Like Remaining Light is this critical masterpiece. Blah, blah. I actually, don't like that record famously. Speaking in Tongues is their crossover because Burning Down the House was just an absolutely massive single and a crossover single too. It was a big dance record. And so a lot of people, were excited about that. I'm not saying it was like played in clubs and everything, but like, yeah, anyway. Yeah, no, I mean, it was a very, very big year across the board for everybody. And to my point, when I'm talking about how the top 10 doesn't change, that keeps things like, the talking heads from necessarily like getting that obvious historical referendum where like, there's other things too. God, I mean, at the end of the year, it's so funny. It's still all the same shit. Except Billy Joel's Innocent Man is cracked in. Color by Numbers is starting to happen in America. And what was the other big one? Oh, and at the very, very end of the year, 90125 shows up. And then you're really getting into like tech, like the technology, the Fairlight CMI, digital programming, all that stuff. Like you get a huge cut. 84 is sort of, it's still very analog. 83 is Lindrum. You have some songs like you've had it since the Human League that, you can make electronic pop. But by the time you get to 85 and like Duran's Notorious, and like then you get into 86 and Peter Gabriel, so like everything becomes like crystalline on a level that to this point has been very analog and warm. Big shift. Thompson Twins had massive hits. I mean, that's going to come over here. Stop Making Sense really hit in 84, right? But someone mentioned it in the chat, and it's it's sort of, I love the Talking Heads. I mean, I had there was that 2 CD comp that came out when like I was in high school in like 92 or something that had like just a bunch of really great little quiet old songs. Like what's it, Sugar on Her Tongue or whatever was on it. And all those old demos were so good. And it's just like I said, it's a weird thing but in 84 they really do become like popularly a thing. I know Soul Mining and my youngest daughter loves Sweet Bird of Truth. I got you. I got you under my skin where the rain can't get in. But when the sweat pours out, just shout. Fucking Matt Johnson, dude, that guy. Back then, too, like the fucking videos of him. Oh my God. Yeah, she calls it the beach song. Because I had the 45s, like 2 CD comp in the car for a long time, and XTC's Fossil Fuel. Because in the car, I had a CD player, it's an old Jeep. I got rid of it. Now I have an old Land Cruiser that doesn't have a tape player or a CD player. But yeah, we Fossil Fuel, the singles, and Singles Going Steady, Buzzcocks. Like my son's loves the Buzzcocks. He's huge into the big obvious stuff, Ever Fallen in Love and Promises, and what was the other one he used to love off that? But I mean, like the comps, because you're in the car. You want the hits. Was Marr on the? No, Johnny Marr joined the in 88 after the Smiths broke up. And he was on I think Mind Bomb was the first record, but the big one is in the 90s is Dusk, which is Dogs of Lust on Dusk. Holy shit. Slow motion replay too, all that other shit. But yeah, it's funny. Like you talk about 83, I just did the Chappelle sound, and you talk about like Charlie Murphy's story about how like, everything changed in the club, and it was the dudes who were wearing eyeliner and jerry curls that were like picking up on girls, and like that's that whole thing I've been talking about it sort of since the Human League comes up, and that sort of more effeminate male fashion becomes extremely fashionable. And I just love that skit, in the famous Chappelle's Prince skit, the scene when they're in the club and there's like, I don't know, one of the writers, and it's a white guy and he's just got like tons of lipstick, and it's just hilarious because that's the reality. When you go back and you see pictures of Robert Smith and Boy George and shit, they look fucking amazing. And you're like, wow. The reality is most people look like me with lipstick and eyeliner and shit on in the club, like trying to get laid. It's so bad. Yeah, U2's War, huge. I mean, God, we're never going to get through it. The Smiths in 83, all the crap they were doing, like, oh my God, forget it. We're going to miss so much stuff, but just, we'll plumb through it. So we kind of did the tone of the big album stuff, That's why clubs were dark. Before Hollywood, yep, go betweens first blow up. I mean, we're gonna get through it. Pylon had a record this year. We'll get there. But yeah, so the year starts, and again, somebody mentioned this is why they fucked up when Wrong-Footed, the launch of Thriller, was the success of The Girl Is Mine, which was number one for number 1 or 2 for quite a long time. But then in relatively short order, 83, you feel it change. We talked about Sexual Healing and stuff, but this is when like Tony Basil's Mickey, Africa by Toto, The Girl Is Mine, Down Under, Men at Work. We talked about Space Age Love Song in the last one. This is where it all starts to fall away, and gradually you get like just Goody Two Shoes, Adamant, all these classic things. Classic, you know, one-hit wonders, they call them. The Golden Earrings come back. Fucking 70s guys came back with I'm coming in the twilight zone. It's actually a good little rock chorus. I give Golden Earrings some fucking credit, man. Like, Twilight Zone's not that bad. When the bullet hits the bone, like, and they have like the whole off, like everyone did a Raiders of the Lost Ark video. Duran did it with Save a Prayer. I think it was Save a Prayer, where they're, you know, everyone's doing a video like they're like in Marrakesh in a fucking linen suit, and you know, it's just great. It's just so good. Twilight Zone's every time it comes on the radio, I'm like, I forgot about this shit. You know, it's like Blinded by the Light. You know, you don't hear Blinded by the Light, and then you hear it on the radio, and you're like, God damn, this was a great fucking song. Anyway, oh, the worst, most deplorable, just patronizing, fucking cynical, dog shit fucking song. And we're living here in Allentown. Fucking Billy Joel. Oh, Allentown is such a disgusting, despicable piece of shit. But then, so a lot of people, like, for me, I love Pretenders across the board. Like, I love the early fucking demo 7-inch version or whatever it is of The Wait, when it's just like, and it's just like total still punk production. And the tempo is faster, and Chrissie Hynde's like, it's just like the original version of The Wait. I think it was on that big box set they did in the 2000s. God damn, it's so good. But then in 83, they come back with Back on the Chain Gang, and it's just like, it's so smooth, man. Like, you know, people talk about Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks and Gypsy, and yes, these are classic, you know, definitively smooth pop songs. But Back on the Chain Gang, that just feels like home to me, man. Like, it emotionally just feels like so pleasant and just like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's the wistful, the end too, like the Smiths, like Morrissey style, the breathy. Fuck, man, that song is so good. Liquid. Yeah, I mean, I like that song like everybody does, and all that shit at the time, you know. When was Hungry So Angry? Did I miss that? Was that 82 and not 83? Medium. So hungry, so angry. That guy was fucking great looking, man. They should have been a lot bigger. Medium. So hungry, so angry. Fucking great song. Such a good song from this period. Nobody, like, they were like 81, 82. Yeah, sure. It was older than that. That whole thing, that whole liquid, you know, Bush Tetras, all that New York and England kind of dead funk, the ACR covering Shack Up by Bambara, you know, that whole thing was like very much a thing. Like, it's Gang of Four is, you know, at least partially, you know, all out of that whole Northern Soul thing. But anyway, Paisley Underground, yeah, we'll get there with all that stuff. 99125's end of the year. Rebel Yell's very late in the year. Yeah, those are definitely coming up. But yeah, so I mean, again, like I said, Africa was so big, and then you get fucking Styx, Mr. Roboto. So I don't know if people understand this. I wrote an entire article about this song. It's called Paranoid Chant, little to the Minutemen, who, by the way, released their second great record in 83, What Makes a Man Start Fire. So I talked about how the punchline is like the definitive Minutemen release to me. But What Makes a Man Start Fires has like Anchor, so much good shit. Bob Dylan wrote Propaganda Songs is on that. Like, those two, like, yes, the Minutemen just became SST throwing all their shit on CDs. I think that kind of sucks. If you go get the vinyl of the punchline and the vinyl of What Makes a Man Start Fires, and you just live with those records as they were intended to be heard, whew, that shit is killer. Thanks for turning me on to the Swirlies narrative strap. You bet, buddy. Oh, and hey, whoever was in the Discord talking about having never known that Dexys did anything other than Come On Eileen from like 80s comps and never hearing This Is What She's Like, I was playing that on loop all fucking day today because I had to go to the dump like 6 times because we were cleaning up down trees and shit in the woods. And like every time I got in the Land Cruiser, I was blaring, I don't like these people. Oh my God, that song is so fucking good. So I'm good. Everybody get into that. you know, but again, there's still stuff like I've Got a Rock and Roll Heart, Clapton, and I told you Supertramp was persistently big at this time. Joe Jackson was still having the hits, and Christopher Cross was still in there. So was Kenny Loggins had Heart to Heart. No, that's not an oft-remembered Kenny Loggins song. But Plim Souls, yeah, Valley Girl was huge for that. Another, and again, soundtracks. I talked for a long time about the Music Supervisor thing. It goes back to the Times Square soundtrack in 1980, I believe. Really fucking sketchy movie. It was like somebody saw Christiane F., that classic Bowie drug addict girl movie. I have that poster somewhere. That'll get on here, the Christiane F. poster, if I can find it. I think I framed it. That movie, it's from the 70s. It's so fucking grim. It's one of the grimmest, darkest, adolescent, depressing. It's Christiane F. is life-changingly brutal. But, you know, then Times Square is sort of like a corny, like, you know, the movie Suburbia that gets made with Flea in it around this time too. These American, you know, attempt Over the Edge, the Matt Dillon movie. Like, oh man, it's bubbling under the idea that there's this disaffected youth. The notion of disaffection is kind of the thing. And Decline One, you know, we watched Erg and Cast, the Discord did last night. It's so much fucking fun. Thank you, Joe, for doing that, man. We got to do that with like all these movies I'm talking about. Like, fuck, like all these cheesy like youth movies in the early 80s. There's a bunch of them. And Valley Girl's one. And it was a huge sound. Valley Girl missed me 100%. Zoop, nothing. You know, I missed Veronica. No. So yeah. Do You Really Want to Hurt Me is already on here. Goody Two Shoes. You know, I said Back in the Chain Gang. Mr. Roboto. It really starts turning over fast. But songs are what I'm saying in this is songs are staying on the chart a lot longer. 80, 81, 82, there's a lot of churn. It's not hard to get on the charts almost in a way. And 83, it's like people aren't getting sick of shit. Like more and more and more people. The list, it's not a list. I told you, all this is from Joel Whitburn's books. If you're a music critic, you should have all this shit. There's an 80s one, there's a 90s one. These books you have to have them because you can't possibly remember all this shit. Yeah, I'm very aware that Blue Monday and PCL is 83. We're going to get there. She Blinded Me with Science. Again, this is like arch one-hit wonder 80s shit. What was the story we were just talking about with Thomas Dolby? Like he was going to join. What band was he going to join? Yeah, well, They Don't Know. I've gone off on forever. Tracy Ullman's They Don't Know cover of Kirsty McCall's, excuse me, early Stiff single. And They Don't Know haunts me. Like it's such a fucking beautiful girl group, like doo-woppy brill building song. And it's so saturated with all of that 80s, like bad slammed, like, you know, FM synthesis, everything sort of brick walled. I get a feeling when I look at you. Oh my God. I mean, and it was, you could never get it. There were all these licensing problems with it too, because actually I don't know why, but God damn, They Don't Know is so good. And of course, Paul McCartney at that time is doing, what is it? Not Give My Regards to Broad Street or whatever. He's doing some fucking play. It's so bad. And he's in the video for They Don't Know at the end, like mugging with Tracy Ullman, like hanging on to it. It's so adorable. She is just the best. I mean, you know, yeah, she was in a relationship with somebody sort of extremely powerful and everything. And, you know, people get kind of shady about that. Give me a break. She's so fucking talented. She's just like, she was such a light. I mean, all of her skits and everything. She's so fucking funny. I know she's crossed some lines for some people and it's another time, but I loved her. And she fucking gave Matt Groening his shot. The Simpsons would never have happened if it wasn't for Tracy Ullman. She saw that short and she was like, this fucking rules. I want it on my show. That's where I first saw The Simpsons, because I was a huge Tracy Ullman fan show. I thought she was so hilarious. This is when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13. That was another, like, I don't know. It was just a kind of a good, I don't know. It was a good thing at that time. There wasn't a lot. There was like 21 Jump Street, and the Tracy Ullman Show. Like that was it for 87, 88. Her Merkel impression is frighteningly fucking on. Yeah, I agree. Journey's Separate Ways. That is almost like too hoary for belief. Open Arms was getting there. Separate Ways is just nuts. I talked about this before. So this is where you get like an avalanche of more like bam, bam, bam. You get Jeopardy, the Greg Kinn Band. We talked about that. I because the breakup song was earlier. Der Kommissar, the After the Fire version, the Anglicanized version of it, of Falco's hit, and Beat It. What's weird is that Billie Jean was so big that Beat It like sort of there was no air for Beat It to get to number one, because Billie Jean was number one for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I think, before Come On Eileen topped it, and then Beat It was number one, you know, for the next month, and then Let's Dance, Bowie. I mean, like, how can this is week to week to week in one fucking year? Don't do it around a while. Sir, Separate Ways is the greatest rock chorus. Is that Rob? What's your last name? Crisco? Anyway, Hungry Like the Wolf. I talked about that one. It's such a fucking legit guitar song. Like, respect. Fucking Hungry Like the Wolf. And we were talking about ballads. My boy, Brian from Cuts Like a Knife. Straight from the heart. Man, it's fucking great. And then our guy, you know, we've talked about you know, the early work and how good it was of the Psych Furs. But this is really, you know, this is 80. But by this time, now you get Love My Way, and now you're getting. Someone mentioned John Hughes, like. We're not there yet, but like we're about to go to Breakfast Club. We're about to go to all of that shit. And that's how music is getting around. And that's how kids are hearing about like posters of Cabaret Voltaire in Ferris Bueller's Room. Like a lot of this stuff. Lips Like Sugar. Yeah, that was this year. You bet. Porcupine was this year. No, Lips Like Sugar wasn't 83. It was 86. That's the one after they already Brett's Candle. Like he was almost going to do a solo record, but yeah, Porcupine is 83. That's right. We'll get there. I do the alt stuff after. Stray Cat Strut. When I used to get really, really drunk in like my 20s, I used to fucking belt Lips Like Sugar in bars, like ridiculous. Yeah, can't lie. I can no longer do that. Get really drunk or belt Lips Like Sugar. A Little Red Corvette comes in the summer. I still think that song's kind of dinky. It was never big for me. I was a Let's Go Crazy guy, and I don't know. The only time you can sing it, yeah, you gotta spare us the cutter. Yeah. But then yeah. So Do You Really Want to Hurt Me has been there. I think it's still charting when Time comes in. Mexican radio is still charting here at the summer of 83. And then Too Low for Zero, man. I'm Still Standing. Elton John. Fucking, this is such a good comeback record. I love that Elton was able to pivot into the 80s. The guitar work on I'm Still Standing, it sounds like Algebra Suicide. It is so fucking rich, and the chorus and like it's so original, and you can barely hear it. It's so subtly mixed because it's an Elton John song. So vocals come first, everything comes 50th. But the guitar work in I'm Still Standing, seriously, and the drums too. Like there's a great little like double jump. Boom, yeah. Oh man, fuck. I'm Still Standing. You like listen to that song like 50, 60 times on repeat. I have. You can tear that shit apart, man. There's so much good shit in that song. So much fucking reward to be found deep in that song. Yeah, I think Little Red Corvette is not all there. But 83 also is an important thing because it's when Weird Al Yankovic sort of happens. Weird Al Yankovic, like he had done things, but this is a year when he does I Lost on Jeopardy. Eat It. What's the other one? Ricky. And like no one, like, I mean, we'd had Tiny Tim and we'd had lampooning and we'd had, you know, sarcasm and comedy and everything mixed in, but like Weird Al was a massive cultural phenomenon for kids in the way that like Star Trekkin' and Dr. Demento and Fish Heads, like this is music that's not really music. It's like jokes, and that stuff hit for little kids like me even. Because I mean, I remember Star Trekkin' and Rappin' Ronnie. Look that shit up. Is this when fucking 19 came out? Paul Hardcastle? No way. That has to be way later. Did cool people like Weird Al? I mean, another one, Rides the Bus. Fucking I Love Rocky Road. So funny. I mean, so funny that this was like selling a shitload of records. It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. Oh, this is funny shit. I mean, I just remember listening to tapes every night, just listening to these tapes over and over and over again. Rick Derringer, yep, and he was in Hang On Sloopy, you know, the McCoys. It's all a circle. Richard Goddard, Rick Derringer was in Ohio and opening for them, the Strangeloves, and they pulled his band. And 19 is 85. Oh man, okay, I'm ahead of myself. I'm just thinking, oh, We've Got Tonight. I told you, Kenny and Sheeny. Oh man, Kenny and Sheeny Easton, We've Got Tonight. That is a great fucking ballad. Good stuff. DeBarge, I like it. And Houdini hits in 83 too. Houdini and what was the other huge fucking like legit rap record in 83? Oh, that I'm thinking of. Shit. I don't think I didn't pull it up. I was going to pull up like top genre charts I didn't have time. What was the big thing? Oh, fucking Wild Style. Wild Style's soundtrack is 83. That shit blew the fucking doors off the burgeoning rap shit, like to mainstream. Wild Style was so fucking huge. Oh my God. And Houdini rules the fuck. Yes, Houdini is the absolute shit. I talked in the last video probably enough about Duck Rock, but yeah, Punk It Up is one of my all-time favorite songs. Jesus Christ, my brain is fucking shot. Buffalo Gals, it's fine, whatever. At the time, Buffalo Gals was a big fucking hit. Obviously, massive club hit because it had a like like a hip hop beat for the club. I mean, it's very similar in some ways to The Message, but no, it's Punk It Up and the one that when the Double Dutch. Jesus Christ, thank you. That's oh my God, Double Dutch is great. Skip they do the Double Dutch. That's them dance. And we talked also about at the end of the 82 Modern English. And then I'm Out With You is at this time too. So, I mean, you just New Year's Day, U2, Our House, Madness. This is America again. It's just, these are big, big fucking hits that just everyone, Yeah, Keep Feeling Fascination is one of my, it's maybe my favorite. I've between like Human, Love Action, and Keep Feeling Fascination. Keep Feeling Fascination is probably my favorite Human League song because the synths are just insane. They're totally out of tune. They can't keep up. There's no sequencing. That's not a sequencer. I'm pretty sure. I mean, no one's got real good sequencing yet. That comes later. Oh, I'm sorry. Did somebody mention Naked Eyes? There's Always Something There to Remind Me was one of this song to me, like Life in a Northern Town and Always Something There to Remind Me by Naked Eyes. These songs send me literally back to being 8, 9 years old. Like I look up at the sky, gray sky, dead trees, all that shit. Like it's like the Salvation Army band played, and it's the bells, the fucking wedding bells and shit, just crashing across the midsection, and the end, the finale of Always Something There to Remind Me is so good. And they weren't a huge thing. They were a one-hit wonder essentially. Pete Byrne and Bob Fisher, and like look, the Promises did okay, but you go out and do a Burt Bacharach song, you're probably gonna do okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's kind of corny, but it's beautiful, and it just feels like that. I used to call these kind of songs like "She Sells Sanctuary." I called them great gray Anglican classics, and that's to me what they are. They just, whether or not they're all from there. And I Melt With You is sort of that kind of a thing. They really feel like kind of a time and a place. I don't know. Yeah, that's an album cover. Yeah, we'll get to The Cure. Trust me, buddy. We're gonna get there. This is an interesting one. I forgot about this. Sergio Mendes had a big hit. Never Gonna Let You Go. That's a funny one. Miller used Elton John's arpeggiators on the early DM albums. Okay. So arpeggiating is not really sequencing, but you're right. That probably is a technique. Yeah, that probably is a technique they were using. That's possible. Again, zero prep. Because when's the Voyatra come out for New Order? The Voyatra 8, that fucking insane, like $18,000 sequencer that did like they do Perfect Kiss with it and shit. Yeah, that's the fit, baby. This is actually vintage, Yo, what's up? Kagdala. Huh? It's Lisa. But anyway. It's I gotta mention, there's a couple of like neutrally awful bands from the 80s that I think of, and I think let's say 3. They're not 83, but like Voyatra 8 was 82. Yeah, there you go. There's 3 sort of bands that I think of when I think of just like totally flatlining, like nothing bands: the Hooters, the Outfield, and the Call. And those bands to me are like, they almost have the inverse of value. It's like, it is music. You can recognize that you're listening to a song, but it's like having a magnet backwards. Like it just does nothing. Wow. Yeah, and The Walls Came Down by The Call was a big hit. What is Fortnite making me lag again? Dude, it's not just Fortnite, it's also Animal Crossing. It's all they're doing. I can't tell them to stop playing a fucking video game so my stream is smooth. This is fucking stupid. But yeah, how bad was I out, Frenchie? Was I like gone for multiple seconds or something? Is this like fairly okay? No lag here. I mean, it's you. It's your connection, Frenchie. Don't give me any shit. The Cooking Mama's crypto mining. Yeah, totally. I heard about you guys told me about that. I didn't know that. The Fix. Oh, I have that. God damn. I have that record. I didn't pull it. I love that. Saved by Zero is such a good song. Again, like another landscapey kind of soundtracky bit of 4/4 pop. But there's other, there's pieces of that, like the bridge and the exit out of the chorus. Like Saved by Zero is such a good one. One Thing Leads to Another. That song fucking slaps, man. And I never use that word. One Thing Leads to Another is funky as shit. That is a great fucking 80s hit. One thing. To another. Oh man, that's like a big studio type band. Like we thought, Wang Chung, Points on the Curve is 83. And that was big. Wait, which again, I went into the whole music supervisor thing about how William Friedkin was obsessed with the song Wait off of Points from the Curve by Wang Chung. And then they have Dance Hall Days blow up. I don't think that hits until 84 in the US. And they make them put it on the album, even though it was a non-album single, I think. But yeah, The Fix is like, West Ram, Greenall, AG's Little Man. Rupert Hine, man. That's a great record. Where are we at? We're only in June. God damn, man, I got to pick this up. A CBS front. Yeah, exactly. Another song in Vice City. Yeah, I'm sure. The Outfield's whole project from West End gigs to a hit record in like 8 months is so sus. Yeah, exactly. And The Call is like that over here. I mean, it's just like, awful. Can I do the next chart sweep in my Animal Crossing town? That'd be fucking funny. Oh, you know what? Maybe it wasn't Separate Ways, Robert. I think I might have been thinking of Faithfully. Faithfully is, I don't know if it gets more over the top. Like, Faithfully is basically a Christian song, in my view. That's like Amy Grant shit. I don't know what the fuck. Like, that is bad. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, we talked earlier, it came up, Too Shy, Laval, Kajagoogoo. Yo, I mean, it's a good song. You got it. Like, you can dick on them all you want for the never ending story. But you can't fuck with that. Irene Cara. Oh man, Marauder, Giorgio Moroder, Flashdance. What a feeling. God damn. I thought we talked about that. No, we talked about Fame, Irene Cara. Flashdance, Giorgio Moroder's back at it, and he's about to do Berlin for Top Gun another couple of years from now. That guy, man, he's so... Oh, and he's still there in Italia when they do the World Cup song in 90, right? Oh my God. Marauder never dies. Here it is. Yeah, June, White Wedding. So Billy Idol starts to get on. Photograph, Duran Duran, 1999. And Sweet Dreams, Eurythmics. This is all happening in 83 in America. Like, this is stuff that you would only have expected to ever chart in England. And that's why Rolling Stone has, like, you know, the second British Invasion cover of Duran Duran. Like, after 83, it's just like, wow, American music fucking sucks. We have nothing going on over here. It is just a wasteland of fucking bullshit. And there's just all this fresh fucking innovative shit, look, image, attitude, you know, and I mean, we're before Frankie says, but and I really think I don't know, whatever, it's not important. But big stuff, man, big stuff. Oh, Joe Walsh, Space Age Whiz Kid. That's some corny shit. That had to be on the soundtrack. But yeah, oh yeah, Planet P. Why me? And it's all the same songs, really. Donna Summer, What's Hard for the Money comes up. That was big. Yeah, Cruel Summer comes out too, right? The Karate Kid comes out soon after. That's where I heard it. I mean, I probably heard it on the radio, but I just remember, because, you know, the video for Cruel Summer, I believe, famously, is where they have no idea what's going on, and they get flown over to America, and they're like shooting a video in New York because it's New York, and they're like in front of the Twin Towers, like that famous bluff, wherever that is, I forget, with the overlook, with the looking glasses. What the fuck is it called? I only lived there for fucking 6 years. But yeah, that video, Cruel Summer is another one where I just remember, like, it just felt really like raw and urban in a way, probably because of that video. I don't know, but you can, yeah, Cruel Summer doesn't hit till Karate Kid, right? No, I know, but I just the feeling of that. Yes, Billy Idol was supposed to be the Terminator 2, the creepy dude who's the liquid metal guy. It was supposed to be Billy Idol. He was fully cast, but when he had that near-death motorcycle crash, he couldn't do it. So here's another big one. I'm talking about eternal songs that send me back. Come Dancing by the Kinks. When I hear that Carnival, when I hear that, and then that like like action movie, like middle eight, like what the fuck? Oh man, Come Dancing was a big song, and I don't get too fucking weird, but I remember like the video, and I remember that like the sister's like running out to some boyfriend or whatever, and there's like her little brother is sitting on the stairs, and I think it's supposed to be him, and I felt very of that. So I guess I got to tell the fucking Thriller story. So in 1983, I was in third grade, and we were having our school talent show, and I paired off with like 8 other kids. I remember that, and I did not play Michael Jackson. I remember the kid who did play Michael Jackson's name was Seth Raymond. And I played the bad guy in white denim in the knife fight in the Beat It video. And we did it in the gymnasium for the talent show, and they played Beat It over a PA, like a 2-speaker PA. And like we weren't in we weren't out there. We were like off in a hallway until the breakdown EVH guitar solo. And like I have like a Play-Doh, I don't remember honestly. But what I remember about this is I remember this moment. We were in this hallway and we were all supposed to go out. And like the 5 other kids with me were all like itching. They're like, we gotta go out there. We gotta go. And I'm like, no, wait. Like the notion of like performing, of like acting in a way, totally hit me. And I was like milking it. I was like, not yet. Like waiting for like a beat to go out and like strut across the gym to get in the fake knife fight. Like basically we just held hands and did a circle. It was so stupid. But I got to embody a character from like a video that was on TV, and it was like I took it super seriously. And I'll never fucking forget that shit. I don't know why. It's just like the whole panic of it and everything was like super funny. I mean, other than that, I mean, Christ, I remember we had to do at one point we had to do the fucking Greatest Love of All in chorus, and I just like hid behind the risers. We talked before about Keep Feeling Fascination. That actually charted solidly in the US. But then, people also forget Wanna Be Starting Something was top 10 too. I mean, at this point, this is where you start to get like, is there anything on Thriller that's not going to chart? Pretty much looks like it's all going to get in there. Wanna Be Starting Something is number 9 at this point. Come Dancing is 10. And Let's Dance and Beat It have sort of fallen out. Oh, and Is There Something I Should Know? That is a hugely fucking overlooked Duran song. I mean, no, it's not, obviously. But Is There Something I Should Know? God, that is it's actually really kind of different for them. I mean, Rio's the last time that Duran is sort of like they've become an article as a result of Rio, and they don't ever, at that point, it's just Duran Duran. You know what I mean? The Greatest Love of All was a big Whitney Houston ballad. It's fucking endless. You couldn't get rid of it. You couldn't escape it. Every high school graduation, they sing it in Say Anything. One of the guys sings it at the graduation in the movie Say Anything. In the 80s, that song, The Greatest Love of All, was like the milquetoast Nancy Reagan ballad of all time. I mean, it was just everywhere. Yeah. Rock of Ages. Bowie had China Girl hitting huge, and that was another one where MTV was making it so big. But New Edition pops off. Candy Girl's hitting hard in 83. Both in England and America, Candy Girl was a massive chart hit. But that's sort of pop, I mean, it's not Houdini. But they're also like 11, so it's clearly not going to be Houdini. Oh my God. Fucking Try Again by Champagne. I don't know if I've heard that since 83. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, War Games. There's another. Wow, there's a sad one. Then I'll Tumble For You, which is like early 82, I think, in England, gets over here. It becomes a big hit, which this is a little NSFW, so if you're not into, but like I'll Tumble For You has to be the most explicitly homoerotic song to ever chart like anywhere. I'll Run the Gun For You and so much more. I mean, and then also Bet You Got a Good Gun, Bet You Know How to Have Some Fun in Bed, Miss Me. Like, he got metaphors that, how the fuck is this okay? And he's literally talking about like rogering gay sex. And yeah, top 10, whatever. My Soviet shirt? I didn't see what's written on it. Oh, are you actually going to translate this? You can read Cyrillic? Yeah, hook it up. What does this say? I have no fucking idea. Never did, honestly. You got it? Linda Rodstadt. Yeah. No, she just started in standards, and she charted. She's in here for sure. We got it? You got this translation? I mean, this is, I don't know. Okay. I talked before about Little River Band. Taco, another fucking massive 80s one-hit wonder, Putting on the Ritz. God, that song is fucking creepy, and the video is even creepier. That shit used to like make me so uncomfortable. God damn it, I either got poison ivy or I got something on my fucking leg. It's Russian for Red Boy. I don't give a shit. Yeah, Putting on the Ritz. Oh, that is some creepy ass shit. Taco's still fucking printing on that. Yeah, Electric Avenue was number 2 in America. And we didn't talk about this, Eddie Grant. Oh, like, I mean, that song, nothing sounded like that. Like, that guy took reggae dub and he put it into, like, it's like, it's almost like a fucking Rolling Stones song at this point. It's so good. It's a Riot song. Sure, yeah. I mean, and I think also there was a big generational thing around this time because Bob Marley had been massive in America and colleges and stuff. Like, weed is like coming back a little bit because it had been kind of a lame hippie thing. And it really blows up in the late 80s when I'm like 13-ish with the Jerry Bear revival and Touch of Grey. Like, weed really starts to come back out of stuff like this. It's still not cool. Like, rich people and shit are all just doing coke and whatever, but anyway, yeah, it's really good. Oh God, Krista Berg, Don't Pay the Ferryman. Whew, we'll get that when we go to the English stuff. God damn, I'm already an hour in. I gotta fucking hurry this shit up. So what happens when we get into the heat of the summer? It's, I've already called all these out, and then this is when Every Breath You Take comes out and Synchronicity hits, and Every Breath You Take is number 1, for a long time until Total Eclipse of the Heart comes out in the fall, and then Sexy and 17 by Stray Cats. But oh God, Making Love Out of Nothing at All, Air Supply. That goddamn song was so enormous. It was everywhere. Making love out of nothing. Oh, wow. Tell Her About It. And I talked before about Safety Dance. Safety Dance is that fall. One Thing Leads to Another, The Fix, the second single. And Promises, Promises, Naked Eyes was a big hit at this time. Yeah, and Burning Down the House starts charting fall of 83. And Human Nature, again, another Thriller single. This is the feel kind of in King of Pain. Oh man, King of Pain was actually relatively very big. So those are, again, same sort of artists, but different songs as it starts to get colder, if that makes sense. But it's the same sort of dominance of the same acts. Delirious. Yes. I remember Delirious still being big. God, I think around Christmas of this time. And then this is when Spandau Ballet blow up with True in America in the fall of 83. Again, it's the difference between what's in like the top 20 and what's in the bottom 80. It's like the bottom 80 literally might as well not exist. That's how much pop music is blowing up, and like how much MTV and FM radio are just, I mean, it's so weird to put like kind of an explanation to it. But yeah, Come On, Feel the Noise comes in right at this time. And Heart and Soul, which is a fucking massive heavy metal song by Huey Lewis. Like fucking Heart and Soul shreds. Modern Love, Bowie, Tell Her About It, Billy Joel. And I mentioned earlier the Motels and how they intersect with Berlin and Marauder. That second single, Suddenly Last Summer, which everyone thinks is actually by Till Tuesday, the band who did Voices Carry. Suddenly Last Summer is by the Motels, who did Only the Lonely, in 82. They were really big. But, Uptown Girl. Burning Down the House cracks the top 10 in October. But Uptown Girl and Tell Her About It were like, they may as well have been a double A side. They were both so big at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, again, it's like, as soon as you get out of that top 20 space, like, yeah, Every Day I Write the Book is in here. Punch the Clock, Elvis Costello is a relatively great record. I love Every Day I Write the Book. There's the verse where it's like, I think it's, I mean, he probably thinks it's a little hammy, but I think it's absolutely fucking beautiful, where he's like, even in a perfect world where everyone was equal, I would still own the film rights and be working on the sequel. That's fucking great shit, man. That's funny as hell. Every Day I Write the Book is just a wonderful pop song. Killer production, killer fucking, you know, back room, drawing room kind of stand-up piano production. Huge fucking snare drum. The snare drum's like fucking 3 feet deep on Every Day I Write the Book. Love that shit. And then Church of the Poison Mind. Again, I made the Culture Club Boy George videos and podcasts. Church of the Poison Mind, that video in particular has always stuck with me. It's a great song, but it has that kind of weird, like a synth sort of, yeah, you know what? This is going to end up being 2 parts. I'm not even going to get into the alternative shit. I'm not going to have time. But the kind of twinkling synth, you know, almost like flute notes in the back and in the back of the opening of Church of the Poison Mind. And that whole Blue-Eyed Soul period, you know, and I talked about Elvis Costello had Get Happy before this with I Can't Stand Up for Falling Down and all the great shit on that record. And Church of the Poison Mind is like right in that. And in their defense, so is Wham. You know, even from the top, like, I mean, not Wham Rap or what's the other one? Boys, what's it called? I mean, like the early Wham is super fucking weak, but like even by the time you're getting to Wake Me Up, and obviously, you know, my favorite is I'm Your Man. Wham is like a great, you know, blue-eyed soul band. Fuck it, they're good, man. You know, Young Guns. Oh yeah, that's no, but there's also Club Tropicana, right? Isn't that what it's called? The other one. Oh yeah, there was some grim shit. Yeah, Club Tropicana. But another great one, another great 80s hit, like classic, that kind of like, you write a song like if you're running away from somebody in an action movie, like it's got to have this cinematic kind of like, because you're going to have to make a video about it, right? So now it's like, well, what if we have the video have like action, the guys running away? Eventually New Order makes fun of this. They're so out in front on everybody. When New Order does Touched by the Hand of God and Bill Paxton is in the video, they're making fun of the idea that videos have become basically scenes from movies, like massively staged, and the musicians are actors. And a classic example of that is Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar, because it's the whole song is like this dance routine, and it's so signature and it's so like iconic. But it's just like, it's also just like, oh man, no one can tell us we're wrong. God damn, Love is a Battlefield. Shit, I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard to get a good song out of Pat Benatar. Her voice is fucking perfect. Like the shit she could hit. Whoa. God damn. And Sheena Easton also, I should say, she had the Kenny Rogers duet. She also had Telephone, Long Distance Love Affair. That was a big hit. Religiously iconic. Yeah, Love is a Battlefield. That video is so crazy fucking funny. Like, because you got to go Michael Jackson at this point. You don't have a choice. You got to get production, like movie production value. You're going to have fucking John Landis come in and shoot a video. Like, you know, it got big. Oh, and then Major Tom, man, fucking Peter Schilling was this year. Oh, God. You need to rant on why Lament is the best B-side The Cure released. Wasn't a B-side. Lament was given away with Flexi Pop magazine, so it really isn't a side at all. It was I have it. It's a translucent Flexi that he recorded while he was like during this period. He did acid like almost every other day, like ridiculous. And I mean, again, I haven't even gotten to The Glove yet. It's like one of my favorite albums ever, and we're an hour and 10 in. We're doing a part 2. but yeah, Lament, he then re-records it when he's doing all the stuff for the Dream singles, and because Let's Go to Bed is 82, and I mean 83 I think is The Walk, but Love Cats, you know, is and at this point the Creatures are fucking popping off, and they're getting Dear Prudence out. I mean, look, like, it's not surviving pornography. All he did during pornography was fucking drink. It's after pornography, when the band breaks up and he doesn't know what he's doing, that he becomes like a complete fucking acid casualty. And he did tons of acid all the way through the 80s. All the Disintegration, like, oh my God. There's a version of The Walk with Lament on it. Well, there's Japanese Whispers, the comp, and then there's the Walk EP. And there's so much, you know, it's easy to Like an Animal. It's so good, because Like an Animal is what becomes In Between Days. But you know, it's this whole thing about, like, I gotta, well, let's partition the glove thing because it'll take hours. Islands in the Stream and Total Eclipse of the Heart, like 1-2 on the US Hot 100. Islands in the Stream and Total Eclipse of the Heart, and All Night Long by Lionel Richie is 3. I mean, and Say by Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson is 5. And then I already mentioned Making Love Out of Nothing at All, and True by Spandau Ballet. Just these ballads, so many fucking ballads in 83 that, you know, How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, Laura Branigan. And then All Night Long is the end of it's like November 83. So I associate the song All Night Long by Lionel Richie with Halloween. When I hear it, I think of getting beat up when I was like 8 years old in 3rd grade. I went out trick-or-treating at a friend's house in his neighborhood, and these like 8th graders who were like 13 like decked me and like shaving creamed us and squirted mustard on us and shit. And yeah, I for some reason my memories of that are associated with All Night Long by Lionel Richie. Very weird. It must have been on the radio before we like went out. Weird. Yep, PYT. And then my man John Cougar Mellencamp, Crumbling Down, number 14. By John Cougar Mellencamp. At this time, that's what he was going by. God, it's such a... I love this record. I love a lot of John Mellencamp's shit. I think he's done some great rock songs. I talked about Authority Song. I want that played at my funeral. Crumbling Down. My sister had in 83. Pink Houses. True. He's just such a good performer and songwriter. And, you know, he definitely wasn't like a born to be media type guy. He didn't handle that necessarily great. But is that is firmament for me. Absolutely, that fucking record. Yeah, we there's another one here. I mentioned Major Tom, which I totally forgot. But Love Is a Stranger actually charted, and they refused to play the video on MTV. And when Sweet Dreams came out, and I've told the story before, it's sort of apocryphal. There are some people who swear to God this is true, and there are other people who say it's bullshit. But the story has been told within the industry. This isn't like kids making it up. That MTV demanded proof that Annie Lennox was a woman, like by fax, before they would play the Eurythmics video. Because they were like, the boardroom was concerned that they were playing a video by somebody who was, you know, gender fluid, you know, the other words they would have used back at that time for that. And yeah, I'm not kidding. I mean, this is not like an anecdote that was told by some nobody. I think it's in the MTV history book or something. This was like seriously a real concern. Like, it was fucked. And so the Love Is a Stranger video is sort of a reaction to that, I think. I think. I don't want to put things that aren't necessarily true out there, but Love Is a Stranger is despite the fact that it charts and it was a well-performing single, it's not remembered well enough, because I think Love Is a Stranger is actually stronger almost in some ways than Sweet Dreams. I mean, I think Here Comes the Rain Again is a better song than Sweet Dreams in the pure synthesizer sort of format that those two exist in. But Love is a Stranger is like a straight up pop song. The synths in it Ed was kind of like all over the place with the twinkling shit. I think it's a little superfluous, but it's wonderful songwriting. But yeah. And so Church of the Poison Mind we were talking about, that stays on for a long time, and so does Heart and Soul and Love's the Battlefield. Like the whole last half of the year, it's Say, which, God, that song was so huge. God, I think in 84 we're going to get to Spies Like Us. Paul McCartney, the fucking Chevy Chase vehicle, Spies Like Us. Ooh, ooh, what do you do? No one else can. Oh, fuck. I don't know why, but I listened to that song a lot back then. It was very big. It was a very big thing. Yeah, so what do we got? Hour and 16. As we start transitioning away from the charts and the big MTV crossovers and shit, I think that you gotta. There's a whole world that's also grown invisibly underground, apart from all of this, apart from all how good all this music was and everything, and how refreshing and amazing, these acts were. And yes, some of them were disposable. I don't hold anything against them, but I would say like Thompson Twins sort of did the same thing a few times. Big Country, oh my God, that song, first of all, fucking rips. That is an outstanding fucking rock song. Poor guy. I don't think he ever got over any of it. I mean, just the kind of, it's like you think of Keith from Prodigy. It's the same. You just have these. You get older, and it's this awful blackness that can hit you when you've experienced these highs, and like it's never going to happen again. And that the certainty of that, that's a tough thing. ZZ Top's Eliminator was 83. Yeah, baby. She got legs. Woo! That's some good shit. ZZ Top were great, man. Fucking great. They figured out how to fuse disco and rock. God damn. No, Violent Femmes, I mean, they didn't chart, but, again, we're going to have to go into this in the next video. College rock, this is the start of it. You got Murmur, fucking the Femmes. There's so much shit like that. Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder. We talked about that, I think. If we didn't, I mean, I know that's become the big fucking TikTok thing, because I actually was listening to it like last month or something, and my daughter was like, "How do you know that song?" I'm like, "How do I know that song? It's been..." But yeah, I mean, 83 is 83 for all the alternative shit. I mean, you got both the American indie underground is sort of solidifying itself, just as Mission to Burma and a lot of these bands are breaking up, or Talking Heads are moving away from it. But you got a bunch of crazy shit happening. And in England, you have that same thing. You have Aztec Camera, the Waterboys, and a bunch of stuff. And like I said, the Cure and the Creatures and the Banshees, and that whole universe is just nuts. And Zoo kind of flame out, but like Chameleons, who I don't even like, Script of the Bridge is fucking huge. I don't know if I have that much to say about it, but it's an enduring record for a lot of people. But it's tough to kind of, without going into, I don't know. There's so many bands that like, there's bands that endured because we look back and we're like, yeah, wasn't the Rain Parade, wasn't Emergency Third Rail Power Trip so important, right? Wasn't it such a great record? I mean, it did nothing. But at that time, in 83, anybody who was betting in terms of like crossover or like people are going to talk about this, they were betting on like China Crisis, not the Rain Parade. Like, it's just, there's so many like, I don't know. Or like, what was the other one? There's so many corny fucking things. It is funny. One thing I'll point out that's super fucking funny is that Bow Wow Wow's second record was called "When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going," which, as I hope you know, becomes a huge fucking hit for Billy Ocean, right? Like not even that far down. I think it's his last big 80s hit. But anyway, I mean, 83 is also like a lot of the post-punk bands that blew up. Apollo's Atmospheres and Soundtracks, I think that's 84. Yeah, Rip It Up. Yep, Orange Juice. I'm not a fan, but yeah, they were big. Listening to Script of the Bridge right now. Sure, yeah, again, I mean, for a lot of people, it's a massive, massive record, a big, important foundational record in the evolution out of post-punk into what becomes, you know, again, like House of Love or Felt, or, you know, a lot of these. Joseph K is much better. I agree. I have Etymology. I have that comp. I was never a big Orange Juice fan. Motley Crue, Shout Out the Devil. Yeah, I mean, what was the Quiet Riot record was huge. I mean, this is, it's a very pivotal year. Because again, when I talk about, you know, Men in Makeup and how attitudes toward these things change. Obviously, that's a big net effect relatively soon in heavy metal, because, you know, they're kids who grew up with glam, they're kids who grew up with Kiss, they're kids who grew up with Bowie and Alice Cooper, and like they're seeing that their music's gone off the charts, and it's Alabama and 38 Special and it's boogie rock, and it's not glam, it's not sexy, right? These guys are all they all have fucking beards, and they're got beer bellies, and they're old. Like I want to, you know what, you know, and Motley Crue is like, they're like I would make the analogy that Motley Crue is to hair metal what like Amoebix was to like goth or death metal or something. Like Motley Crue was really, really out in front, image and attitude. They weren't a good band musically. They fucking sucked early on. They were so terrible. Like that record is just absolute dog shit. Shout out to it's like, oh man. But yeah, exactly. They all of a sudden, it was like, okay, like let's be good looking. And it was a big deal. Yeah, I know Cocteau Twins Head Over Heels was this year. That's when they start to kind of get going. But for me, I'm like a mid-80s. I think I mentioned Tears for Fears at the end of all of the 80s videos so far, because The Hurting is massive. Change is, I commented, it's like, you know, I love Change so much, and Mad World obviously has been a big hit. But that Tears for Fears, their success in the UK was absolutely astonishing. A debut act had never done anything like this, because they weren't even, it's not like it's Culture Club where it's like, this dude's either going to take off or he's going to fucking bomb. Like, this guy's a proposition. Here's our bet. We're going to put a little bet on here. That's my bet on Boy George blowing up. Tears for Fears, it was like Echo and the Bunnymen. Like, everybody's like, whatever, some A&R guy, maybe he'll get a hit out of him someday. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's some weird, bland fucking two dudes. He's got a cool voice, I guess. I don't know. There's nothing to market about him. Yet, it absolutely fucking caned it in England, to the point where, like, they had a blank check to do Songs from the Big Chair. You know, coming on over it. Holiday. God, she can't sing. Madonna she could never sing. I don't know. It's just, Madonna is testament to the will, testament to human will. She just willed herself into being what she is. It's fucking nuts. If you seriously try and listen to Madonna's debut, because you've grown up with auto-tune, you've grown up with perfect recordings, it's painful. It really does sound like a dog being beaten. Like, it's astonishingly bad. And, you know, it didn't matter. Her image was everything. In her and Cyndi Lauper, holy shit. Yeah, I didn't even, because it doesn't chart until 84. She doesn't get in. But she's working, because I'm also fresh off reading Cyndi Lauper's memoir, which you have to fucking get. Cyndi Lauper's memoir is amazing. But they got paired against each other all the time. 84 was just this war between trying to make Cyndi Lauper and Madonna a thing, and it just sucked for them. They were from such different backgrounds. Like Cyndi Lauper's background is so fucking crazy. So crazy. Like, please read her book. It's amazing. And she's so talented. Like I tweeted out the thing that leaked where they had Cyndi Lauper, like unbeknownst to her, do a Fleetwood Mac song. And someone, like when she got big, someone snuck over to Japan and pressed it when like Girls Just Want to Have Fun was blowing up. Everything But the Girl debuted in 83. 2 years later, they visited Rush, the USSR, with a concert for student Olympic Games, but were able to sing only 2 songs because of rain. Tracy Thorn, Everything But the Girl. I don't think I know that story. Madonna has no range. No. I mean, again, but Madonna's also like a... What are the messages in her songs? I don't know. I will say La Isla Bonita is a really fucking weird choice that she made, because that's super early in her career. Like, the things you would have expected Madonna to do are like Crazy for You, which is a good song. Madonna got a lot of good songs that if you had given them to someone else, I mean, who knows what they would have done. Who knows? I mean, if it wasn't Madonna, maybe they would have died and done nothing, because it needed her image and her where she was. I don't know, but yeah, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go part 2, man, because this is an hour and a half. It's 7:30. I gotta fucking shut it down. This went by like fucking that. I don't even remember what I said. It's like the last one. These are just flying by, and I'm not even getting through half the shit. I didn't talk about Blue Monday. I didn't even talk about the Hacienda. I didn't talk about like anything that I actually still listen to all the time, that's from this period. Because this is when, a lot of stuff changes over. They are dense, but, I can tell, like, for me, I would say like 86 and 87 aren't going to be that hard to get through, like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. There's so much new technology. That's part of it. There's so much new image. There's so much new technology. There's so many new recording techniques. It's more affordable, so more people are getting access. There's more chancers. There's this huge press in England that's just blowing shit up every other week. You got 5 different The Face. You got a million places you can go pump your band and just try and get them to hit. You got fucking shitloads of money coming in off record sales. You got MTV. You got fucking touring. Like, everything is hitting. I'd said this I think it's part 2 of the Boy George podcast. Every aspect of musical culture was just like at its peak in terms of fans, craving it, buying it, having, having some disposable income, because the economy is starting to turn the corner on the desolation. What's the worst year of the 80s? The anti-83. All right, this is a super weird answer, and we'll have to duck test it when I get there. But I might say 88. 88 is actually awful when you go back and look at it. 89 is not that bad because there's a lot of shit. If you factor in the underground, I mean, 89 is New Order's Technique, and there's a lot of big shit happening for techno and the evolution of shit in 89. Yeah, 88 just sucks because of Cheap Trick's The Flame. That's why. That's, that invalidates the entire year. Did Daniel Johnston's music have any life before Kurt Cobain? I mean, no. I knew that those tapes were going around. I knew about them before. I mean, not before I knew about Nirvana, but, yeah, they did okay. Yeah, 88's awful. It's so bad. Yeah, Stock Aitken Waterman too is 87, 88, and Rick Astley and Kylie and shit. So that the whole the surface music, the FM and the pop shit in 87 is well, Faith is 87. That's massive, and In Excess is massive. Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me is 87. Sign of the Times, I think, is 87. There are things happening in every year. I'm just saying the late 80s are not maybe as fruitful as you might think relative to some, a year like 83, especially 84 in terms of the underground, but we're going to see, because I don't prep for these. Joshua Tree was 87. That record was unbelievable. Yeah, and then Rattle and Hum is 88, right? There you go. That's why 88 sucks. Rattle and Hum. God Part 2, overlooked fucking jam. God Part 2. Angel of Harlem. That's fucking... For you two to do a fucking song called Hawk Moon 269 and have it be like this big, heavy, tribal jam. If you haven't seen the Rattle and Hum movie, it is a definition very much like the Mariah Carey movie of hubris. It's mental as fuck. Momentary Lapse is 87, yeah. Out in the distance of my watering eye, can't keep my eyes from the circling sky. All right, lads.